Hey gang, Coach Casey here tonight and excited to talk to you about a little summertime running. Got my tie-dye on, and so this is actually from my favorite 5K run in the summertime. It takes place in the evening, so it's a little bit nicer to run at that time of the night. And that's actually what I want to talk to you about today, is how you can continue to run in the summertime even though it's probably one of the hardest times of the year to run. And yeah, I know that it gets cold in Wisconsin, Minnesota, Ohio, throughout the Midwest. It gets stinking cold, but I think it's probably easier to run when it's 10 degrees outside than when it's 80 or 90 degrees outside. I don't know about you, but I know that when I come in from a run and it's 80, 90 degrees and the humidity is through the roof, I feel I feel wiped out in a whole different way than I do when it's a little bit chilly outside. So there's a couple things we need to pay attention to so that we can continue to have great performances over the summertime and we don't find our energy lagging or having performances dip or just begin to feel discouraged because of the dog days of summer. So wrote a couple things down to make sure I hit all of them tonight. So here's the first one we want to make sure we're paying attention to, and it's probably the most obvious one, and that is hydration, because we know that we're just sweating more all the time. But the thing that we want to realize is what we're actually sweating out besides water is our electrolytes, so our magnesium, potassium, sodium, these things that we probably take for granted, but they are nonetheless, our body needs them to function and actually to recover. So a quick fix to that is to actually add a pinch of salt to your water that you're drinking throughout the day. Now maybe even a half a pinch. You really shouldn't taste it, but what that little pinch of salt will do is it actually ups the absorption rate for your muscles to be able to take in the water rather than it passing through you as quickly. So you probably don't need to do this if you're drinking water during a meal, because you have salt in your food, so there's no need to put more salt in your water. However, if you just have a bottle of water sitting on your desk, just a little half a pinch of water in there should do the trick. Or some of you like things like Nun or other stuff like that does not have sugar in it but has electrolyte replacement happening. The other thing we want to pay attention to during hydration is the electrolyte replacement that is happening during our running. And so we've seen this for years in the commercials with Gatorade and Powerade and all these great over-the-counter things. But just tell you a little bit about my background with dehydration during a run. I've had heat exhaustion and even came close to heat stroke during running, and then also years lifeguarding, passed out on pool decks a few times. So I'm pretty sensitive to heat, so I really start to feel it in a different way than maybe some of us do. So I probably pay a lot more attention to this and have looked into what do I need to have in my body so that I can function at the best possible way as I can, even when it's warm out. And so the best thing I found is actually something that Karen introduced me to. She kind of showed me this video and some kind of like a webisode thing of some Olympians talking about a Shaklee product that she sells that has maltodextrin and some sugar and also even turmeric in it. So, and it's also gluten-free and there's no artificial sweeteners. But let me back up and just say the reason I feel like it's probably one of the best ones out there is that the maltodextrin, if I'm saying that correctly, is a starchy kind of corn-based carbohydrate that helps that long, slow burn that we need. So I like to use this in any kind of run that's going to be at least an hour long. So it gives me that long, slow burn. And then it does have a touch of sugar in there. Like, wait, Casey, I don't want sugar. It's like, actually, you probably do need just a little bit of sugar for that pick-me-up. And your brain needs the sugar to continue to function optimally. So other people, the important thing is that you're finding something that will work for you. So I found this great product that I found that works for me. It doesn't mess up my belly because it doesn't have gluten. It doesn't have the artificial sweeteners in it, so it doesn't give me a headache. But find something that works for you, because in those hours, especially ones that are getting over an hour, you're going to want electrolyte replacement if you want to be able to run quickly. Second, besides dehydration, the other thing is we want to think about is the time of the day. And I know that some of us, we either, in the summertime especially, we probably are thinking more about early morning hours, or we're trying to fit in our runs about right now. What you can see, it's kind of dusk. It's 7:30, and so some of you are headed out for runs right now. Now, go ahead and go out for your evening run if you can't get into that morning run that's maybe around 5:30 in the morning, because it's a lot better to run right now than when the sun is high in the sky. But I just want to warn you that as you go out for a run right now in the evening, what you're doing is you're actually you're upping that hormone in your body that is created when you do fight or flight. So you're running and you're kind of getting that lizard ancient brain going, thinking that it is running from something. So if it gets your body thinking it is in danger, so it is fleeing the situation. And so what that means is increasing cortisol. And then in about 2 hours, you're going to want to lay down and go to sleep, except you're still pumping, adrenaline and cortisol, and it's not, your body isn't ready to make melatonin, which it needs to go to sleep. So it may mess with your sleep schedule a little bit if you're running in the evening. So my suggestion to you is, if you can, get up in the morning and get out there for those early morning runs, especially if you have a quality session in mind and you have to do something that is going to require faster running of you. You want to do it when it is in the cool of the day. If you can't get out there when it's cool out, or you get out and it's 6 a.m. and it's 80 degrees already, what do? Well, you have to adjust your pace for the temperature. You have to. Let me explain why. Say your workout, you're training for a half marathon, or whatever, and your workout calls for a 10K run. Now, that is a helpful workout to do. However, if your 10K run, your 10K pace is normally, say, 8 minutes per mile, and your workout says do 5-mile repeats at 10K pace, that means you're going to do 5 miles at 8 minutes per mile, because that's your 10K pace, right? Well, if you go out and try to do that 10K pace at 8 minutes per mile, and it's about 85 degrees outside, yes, 85 degrees outside, that means that it's actually, you're going to be pushing it more like at 5K pace. That's what your body is going to feel like as you try to run at that quicker pace. So it's better to go by feel rather than by pace when it is this hot outside. So I usually think when it's about 75, 80 degrees or warmer, I'm paying attention to how my body feels rather than to my watch, especially on pace runs. So what that means is that you're thinking, okay, if I was running 5K, and the workouts tell me go a 5K pace, I want to feel like I'm running at 5K, even though my watch may say, man, you're barely making it, an easy pace. Because sometimes when you're trying to run a quicker pace in particular, it may be 30, 45 seconds or even a minute slower than what you're used to seeing. So don't get discouraged by that. It's perfectly natural. Actually, if you try to push yourself faster, again, you may risk overtraining. And what I mean by that is, if your workout calls for 10K, you do the 10K pace, but your body feels like it's doing 5K, you've just overtrained. And so now you're in risk of injury and burnout and mental fatigue and just getting more tired than you would normally be. And that leads me to my last suggestion for how to run well during the summertime. Last suggestion is rest. Pay attention to how you're resting. So what that means is that usually in the summertime, on recovery days, our plan says no running, no workouts. So you think, oh great, now I can go out in the yard and I can pick out the weeds and I can do all the lawn work that I've been meaning to do, or I can ride my bike with my kids to the park. There's all these things that we would like to do, except now you've taken what was a rest day and you've spent it, hunched down in a position that is very uncomfortable, for an hour, 2 hours pulling weeds, or you've ridden your bike and now you're not resting anymore. As fun as those activities are and as great as they are, they're not rest day activities. So as much as you can, and as much as you're able, I know we're not professional athletes, but so we don't always have control over stuff. But as much as you can, try to keep those rest days actually as rest days. Instead of biking to the pool, drive your car to the pool, drive your car to the park. Those kinds of things. So that you can actually rest on days that are rest days. And we're more tempted to do those kinds of things because it's so nice out and we want to enjoy the weather. Also related to rest is sleep. And I know in the sun, I mentioned this earlier, but right now it is 7:30 outside. It's the longest day of the year. The sun's probably gonna be up to 9:15, 9:30, something like that. And it's gonna feel really weird to go to bed an hour after the sun goes down. However, in the summertime, that's what happens. But we're tempted to usually stay up later than we normally would because the sun is staying up later, but then we still try to get up at 5:30, 6 o'clock to do our morning run. So just something to keep in mind so that you can get the rest that your body needs during the summertime. I'll give you one reason for this and then we're all done. In particular, if you're only getting 5 to 6 hours of sleep at night because you're trying to stay up past the sun like you're used to doing in the wintertime, you're probably only getting you're probably skipping out on getting your dose of human growth hormone. And what I mean by that is it's not the illegal kind that baseball players get suspended for. It's the natural kind that your body creates in the last 2 hours of deep sleep that you might be skipping out on if you're staying up too late and you're shortening the amount of time that you're resting. resting. So keep that in mind. Get to bed early so that you can get your muscles can actually get repaired with its own naturally occurring human growth hormone at night. So hopefully this helps you, and you're able to have a lot of energy as you run, and you're able to just become more aware of what your body is telling you as you're running in the summertime. Happy days ahead. Enjoy the heat as much as you can. I love the summertime. I know it's the best running of the year, so enjoy it. Have fun. Talk to you soon.